Hello and welcome to the Scrub Central Season 2 tournament. We're bringing you action from Group S today with Oximan versus CesarMartins12. Before I actually introduce our commentary team or any other, before we actually start this race, I just want to shout out that today we have a very busy day. We have 5 races going on, three of which, including this one, is being restreamed. So before we start, just going to shout out upcoming races. In about 2 hours' time, we've got Jojo versus Chemo, another Group S race. In about 4 hours' time, Rolo will face off against Relic. 4.5 hours' time, we have Cloud versus Kits from Group B. That match will be restreamed here. And finally, in approximately I want to say 9 hours time, 10 hours time, Happy Pembles will face off against OPB in Group D, and that also will be restreamed here on Scrub Central. You can use scrubs.zeldaspeedruns.com at any time to see the schedule, and of course you can join the Discord where we will post multi-stream links for Jojo versus Chemo and Rolo versus Rillick, as well as there being a watch party being involved. Now, let us introduce to the runners and to my wonderful co-commentators for today. We have Ferlin and Elegatua. How are you guys doing?
Yo, what's up? I figured we'd just talk right over each other at the very beginning. It's a good start, right?
No problem at all, dude. Just keep going.
Yeah, no worries. So, hey, it's Legatua. Good to see everybody here. It's my second commentary duty of the weekend, so hopefully my voice manages to take us through to the end, but I'm looking forward to seeing a really good match today.
Well,
yeah, me too.
I have just sent off our runners, so all I can really say now is good luck, have fun to them. Given that, what do we expect? Actually, we can do Who Wins the Tunic War between Caesar Martins and Oximan, because we could see their tunics in the hash.
Oh, I promise this is not biased, but I'll stay with Caesars.
I'm not a fan of purple, honestly. I think I'm going to go with Oximan, so we're going to be divided on this one. Well, Mido's house not really having anything too exciting, it looks like. Yep, just a bunch of money and some nuts. So the nuts are also a little nice to get early. If you do it right, it'll save you an equip later on in Deku Tree, but ends up not making a huge difference. And CesarMartins is heading out to the field, and looks like it's going to be a South Hyrule opener. And Oxman's going to check the chest, in the sword chest.
A lot of runners, especially if you go and watch the weeklies, a lot of the runners will do a typical 3-song route. They'll do South Hyrule into 3-song, the timing of which can be quite tricky to get down. Caesar Martins might be doing the same approach, or maybe they'll just full clear South Hyrule first, as a scale is found in that Kokiri sword chest.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice find. A lot of runners, when they don't find anything in Mido's house, will opt to skip Kokiri sword chest in the hopes that you find a Kokiri forest foolish hint in the market. But we will definitely not be finding that hint with that scale in the sword chest.
And we already got our first hint that Bigaron is dead, so it's a sometimes hint in these settings, but always nice to know.
Yeah, given that we have the adult trade sequence being claim check to claim check, the Goron becomes a sometimes hint, so that otherwise it would have been an always hint.
Looks like Oximan is starting to make his way down to South Hyrule, and so pretty much the same opener. The order of checking Kokiri's sword chest is not going to end up making a big difference. So even though Caesar is ahead, it's not going to make a big difference as long as they both make it to the owl before night.
And I just realised, because I am also restreaming this, I got the wrong background up. Oops. I was looking at it and I saw the shadow symbols and I was like, hold on, that's not right, is it? But no, we've got it all fixed now.
Okay, so Caesar is gonna wait till night here. He could have gone inside market and done like the target minigame early if he wanted to, but
I think a lot of the
I'll leave for
time,
later.
a lot of the time, especially if you are doing this 3-song route, you actually want nighttime market first, just because it saves just a little bit of time. And then what you can do is, once you've got the song, or when you go back into market to go adult, which I'm pretty sure our runners are going to do soon because of that Link's Pocket start.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about it. It's Forest Medallion, so
Yeah.
Earth 21.
So, well, sorry to cut you off. We got like a bunch of interesting developments. First of all, we're going to see the hints. And also, Oximan is going to Gerudo Valley.
Garon City Foolish. Okay, Skull Mask dead. Cuckoo has Big Goron Sword. And Zora's River is Foolish. So 2 great Foolishes to start with.
Yeah, Goron City is one of my personal favorites to find. And Zora's River is pretty nice. I would have really mixed feelings about that Big Goron Sword. I would almost consider doing chickens for that.
Yeah, I think this is one of those times where you do chickens, because the time that you take out to do chickens, you more or less gain back anyway.
And that's a Hylia Way of the Hero, I believe.
Lake Hylia Way of the Hero is quite nice to see.
And I noticed some good play by Oxyman. He had a little bit of trouble getting into the crate there, but he just took his time and re-threw the chicken and made sure he didn't lose it. That's some good adaptation under pressure, because the nerves of being in a race like this, and also how catastrophic it would be to lose your chicken there. I've had that happen to me, and it's, especially if that happens early on in a big race, it really gets inside your head. So well done by Oxyman to kind of keep things under control. And now we might even see this early scale come into play. I really think that that's why he made this play to go Gerudo Valley, because he has the option to get the underwater bottle here for what we know as, well, Hylia's Way of the Hero. So that's a pretty nice place to be, and he can potentially get that underwater bottle on his first trip there. And even go into Domain as an option for extending Child even further.
Yeah, this Lake Hylia Way of the Hero can pay a lot here for Oximan right now, and he's going to check all the hints. Maybe he can get some exclusive hint that Caesar is not going to get. I think I saw that Boomerang chest is dead. Is that it?
Yeah, that's a Boomerang chest. So this Gerudo Valley route before market kind of fell out of favor, I think, with the meta, just because you have a lot of challenges managing time of day after you get to lake, and so one of the ways that you can try to deal with this time of day issues is by going around and getting all the hints. But your movement has to be pretty good in order to do child fishing and then get all the way back to the owl before nighttime. I think Oxyman's probably fine, but we'll see. But something that might be a little nerve-wracking is if this Hylia Way of the Hero ends up being the bottle that is underwater, will he have enough time to actually dive down and pick it up without it turning night before he can get to the castle? So hopefully that won't cause any issues, but I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, that might be kinda tight for him, but as a backup, I think he can go to domain maybe to at least have 2 checks, but the time of day won't pass there, so it's kinda tricky. And Caesar got Sunsong in the ZL check, so that helps him a lot if he ever gets to the point that Oximan is getting right now.
Yeah, song, very powerful song, allowing you to change the time from night to day. Can be used a bit like a walk back to your last entry point in the overworld, and Malon's teaching us storms.
And speaking of warping to the last place in the overworld, we saw a Furor's Wind on Child Fishing, so that is a wonderful quality of life item to find. Oops, I'm trying to see. I can't quite see what the item under the water is. Oh, it's just a rupee.
It was a blue rupee.
It was a blue rupee.
Alright.
Interestingly to note, Lake Hylia's Way of the Hero. Furor's Wind can be Way of the Hero to get your 30th skull when you don't have a long shot in Water Temple.
Yes, that would also be ridiculous.
That is
Yeah.
the only time that it can be Way of the Hero for Furor's Wind.
Yeah, I think we can assume like almost certainly something as in Lake Adult is gonna be the way of the hero.
And well done by Oximan. He's managed to make it to market with a good time of day, so pretty well executed Gerudo Valley opener, and he's dealt with the most difficult part of the time of day issues without any problems, and he's going to be set to keep going on his 3 route, and he won't have to deal with any awkward issues of getting back to Hylia and deal with the time of day again. Although he'll have Sunsong after the castle, so it won't be too much of an issue, but he's efficiently taking care of that part of the route.
Yeah. CesarMartins, I believe because of the buying Deku shield, because of buying Deku sticks, we might be seeing a look into the Deku tree.
Yep.
Yeah,
Standard.
yeah. This is a route that Caesar likes a lot. So I was pretty confident that he was going to do this in the race.
But because we do have day market, we're able to see the shooting minigame, as well as Burning Cack being Minuet.
Yeah, that's always a hint that makes you sad. Having Minuet early is something that just makes your whole route a lot quicker. And knowing that it's on Nocturne, basically, it's really likely that you're not going to get it, or it's going to be so late that it doesn't matter. So, kind of unfortunate.
Well, we do start with the Forest Medallion, so we just need to clear whatever the Fire Medallion and Water Medallion dungeons are to get it.
That is true, we'll see.
And if it turns out that Forest Temple is one of them, we need to find Sarius. Because for logic.
I kind of missed the other Deku Tree hint.
Skomask.
Oh, Skomask.
Yeah.
So as of now, neither player opting to go check that free song the Forest Medallion gives you. I don't know if that kinda costs some time, but I don't know how much it pays off. Like in this.
Given the opener that our runners have done, the fact that they've done South High, they did a 3-song route, or in Oximan's case, South Hyrule into 3-song. They're probably going to finish 3-song before going to adult.
Yeah. Like it's the most consistent. I get it. It's like if you wanna risk something different, this kind of like thought.
Given that scale in the Kokiri sword chest, I don't know. I'd be incentivized to do a longer child because we have domain access, we have river access, we can buy beans.
Yeah, depending on what we have in Lost Woods here after, and Deku Tree because they have to check it, almost everything. I think that Caesar might be biased to go to Lake because he knows Lake Hyda's way of the hero and check Valley. So they probably will do basically the same stuff before going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice that Sunsong showed up. A lot of times, if you want to go valley into lake, you want to route that in before doing the Deku Tree, because then you don't have to worry about your time of day getting messed up, and you can just finish Deku Tree after whatever checks you do, and then it'll always reset to the same time. But if you have to do Valley Lake after Deku Tree, then you have to worry about it being day before going to market, so you don't get locked out. But with the Sun Song, they have a lot more flexibility. Oh no, missing the jump through the web there. That's I think that's some nerves there, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. I was talking to Caesar before the race. He was kind of nervous, so it's natural that this thing. So nothing in Deku Tree yet.
Not really, other than the Hylium shield, so we don't have to spend the rupees for that, at least.
Yeah. We're gonna have our last check in logic here. At least if it's not a slingshot, maybe, but
Both
we'll
our
see.
runners probably know some form of V1 skip, or if it's
yes.
so it's very possible that we're just going to break the logic anyway, because to some, logic is only a suggestion.
Yeah.
But a beautiful V1 skip from CesarMartins.
Yeah, it was really clean and really fast. Nothing to complain about there. He's probably very relieved that he was able to get past that without any issues.
So the chest he got before the V1 skip was a bottle. So do we start talking about Scotilus again? That
Probably, yeah. Like, maybe the logic wants us to get to 30 skulls, and the only way we can do that is because of the rules win and the bottle. But that is very unlikely. We need to find iron boots as well. We need to find a normal hook shot. Water temple will likely need to be a medallion.
Yeah, sorry to burst your bubble, but with iron boots and hookshot required to make that Forward's Way of the Hero, that would put us well over 30 skulls in logic. So it's not going to be Forward's Win this time.
Oh, it's
something
true,
else.
It's true.
We've got 24 in logic already with the bottle, so I can guarantee that it's not going to be for 30.
Okay, so Forward's Win cannot be Way of the Hero today.
Yeah. Sorry, I ruined the dreams, but I don't want to.
No, it's
Dreams
fine.
are meant to be broken.
I was just joking here. I knew it was like pretty unlikely to happen.
But no, dreams.
Ooh, and Fire Medallion from Deku Tree. So we're very close to that minuet in Burning Cack now.
Yeah, this is a very generous medallion layout so far. I mean, obviously we don't know what water medallion is, so it could end up trolling us, but if somehow they were able to get Minuet before having to actually go through SFM as adult, that would be very, very nice and kind of unusual.
So Caesar is going to find out his scale here right now. Probably going to Lost Woods right after.
Yeah, because you can go to Lost Woods, you can do Sacred Forest Meadow as a child. You can then just go straight to Zor's River.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate though, because with Hyliaway the hero, the route that you just mentioned is pretty good. You can do Lost Woods, and then you can take the shortcut into River. You have to run all the way down River to get your chicken, and then potentially you can do the chicken entry into Domain, and then take the shortcut again to Hylia, because that's probably the fastest way to get to Hylia. However, River is foolish, so now all that time that you're spending taking the chicken from the bottom of River to the top to get into Domain. Remember, we don't have ZL yet. So maybe that'll show up in SFM, but if it doesn't, that route is actually less efficient, and it's just kind of frustrating how it works out. And there's a Forest Foolish, I think, if I saw it correctly.
Forest Foolish, that's our last foolish hint.
Well, you can guarantee yourself that Forest is a medallion now. We know how this works.
Yeah.
That only works with Shadow.
Oh, double Forest Foolish. One after the other.
Yeah. So,
and some bomb chews.
It just wants to hammer home saying, listen, Burning Cack is on Burning Cack is anywhere. You don't need to do Forest Temple unless you're go moding it, because there's going to be nothing here.
Yeah, and there's a 10-pack of chews as well. So if Caesar wants to get out of Logic, and especially do some of these bomb lock checks in the Lost Woods, he's going to have the opportunity. And I will be interested to see how he chooses to manage the bomb chews, because there's some opportunities to route it in a way that you have the option to scum those chews by basically saving before you use them, and then resetting if you don't find anything. Because sometimes 10 chews will be all that you get during a seed, and the longer you can make those 10 chews last, potentially you can find the critical item that lets you break through. As I say that, 5 more chews show up.
Yes. I was about to say, make that 15 chews, as CesarMartins nearly got told to play Song of Soaring. Unfortunately, we're not in the right place for that.
Yeah, I can say that Caesar probably does metal here. Then he's gonna save the game and start scumming the chews in the Meadow Grotto and then Lost Woods. It's what he normally does in this situation.
Would you say that it would be worth spending a chew to unlock the shortcut into Goron City from Lost Woods?
No,
because
Goron City's foolish.
Never mind. We had so many early foolish hints, so...
Yeah, it's really nice actually that Goron City's foolish. You don't even have that temptation. But I think it's really good that Caesar is planning on doing the bomb chew checks after getting the song. Setting up the scumming properly for Lost Woods is something that even a lot of the top runners neglect to do. And I've even messed it up a few times and used one more chew than I've needed to because I've forgotten to save my game before doing the checks or whatnot, and it's ended up costing me. So it's really good that Caesar is on top of the details here. Hopefully he'll remember to save before start spending these chews.
Well, I think that we missed the top of Sacred Forest Mountain, because we've seen that the sky is blue and Thieves Training gives us the hover boots.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so he saved it right now, and obviously Kakariko Way of the Hero, because why the hell not?
I'll have to go back and try and check that hint. I missed it.
The two of the top of the maze were a final chest of GTG hover boots and Kakariko Way of the Hero. The one next to Forest Temple I missed too.
Yeah. Chat, could you help us with
I'm,
that?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
You're working
Let's
on
do it.
Okay.
It was a boomerang chest dude.
It was a boomerang.
Oh, okay.
Duplicate. Awesome. Well, there's a hook shot. That's definitely worth a chew.
Well, that's a keep. That's a keeper. He's not scumming that.
So, if I could critique Caesar with a tiny little suggestion. So, when he got those bomb shoes, he knew that he would need 80 rupees instead of 40, because there's 2 checks that require you to have 40 rupees each, and you can get 11 rupees in the maze. And nice enough as it were, he had 69 rupees heading into the maze. And so if he had been planning ahead in the moment, he could have gotten a little bit of extra rupees while running through, and then been able to check the merchant scrub near the bridge, which is where he's going now. But as you can see now, he only has 34 rupees, and now he's got to figure out how to deal with that. So looks like he's just skimming away some chews, but it's like one of those tiny little things, and you got a lot of information to manage, but that's something that you could have done a little bit more efficiently, and then be able to check that at the same time. Looks like he scummed every. Did he save his hookshot?
No, he didn't. That's one of his problems. I don't want to say problems, but it's like his play style. He doesn't like to leave anything behind. Like, he always wants to make sure he doesn't forget anything. So this will cost him some time, a lot of time. But he's gonna check the scrub here and probably go back for the hook shot right after.
The money to get that scrub, so.
Yeah, he's gonna have to find 11 more rupees on the way. And let's not neglect Oximan, who has a really nice one-cycle Goma kill.
Yeah, really, really nice. Finishing his Deku tree here. Another Cuckoo's hint.
Oh, that's so. Oh no, he scummed it. Oh, I thought he would just use that red rupee to go back and get the hook shot. But
yeah.
Leaves you with more. I mean, it's slower to skim away that red rupee, but at the same time, at least we know not to do that scrub anymore.
Well, anyway, so while we're on this topic, one of the things that is good to know is just all the places that you can get rupees in the Lost Woods, because when you finish Deku Tree and it ends up being devoid of rupees and you're a poor person coming out of Deku Tree with maybe like 5 rupees, this happens every now and then, and you need to farm up to 40 to be able to check the bridge scrub. There's 5 kind of back behind the grass in the Ocarina minigame. There's 5 behind Bido's house as you're climbing up to Lost Woods. You can blow up that boulder that Caesar is about to pass right now for 5 more rupees, and then there is a respawning pack of 5 rupees in the grass in SFM right as you enter to your left. And if you absolutely have to, you can run in and out of SFM and just grab that bloopy to get up to 40. And so especially if you're like 10 rupees short, that is a good place to farm rupees quickly. And oftentimes it's better just to farm that patch rather than have to come back to do the bridge scrubs later on. And then another little optimization you can do is if you grab that Bloopy in SFM, and then you're going to do the Wolfos Grotto, you can come back out of the Wolfos Grotto and grab it again without having to go in and out of the zone. So if you combine all those techniques, you can really efficiently boost your rupee count so that you don't get stuck, which is what happened to Caesar here.
Yeah, rupee routing sometimes get like not very high on our priorities of things to learn, but in this early game, it's really worth it, like Elagacho said. And for some people that do not have much, do not play like in much time, don't have many seeds done, it's very easy to get in a situation like Caesar got himself here. So those are really nice hints that Elagacho gave here.
And it's something that you want to learn because it's something that you will run into eventually if you start doing enough seeds. You're going to be going into the Lost Woods without any rupees, and it's just good to know how to adapt. But Caesar is actually benefiting from his opening route and finding those chews because he's going to be doing Garuda Valley into Lake, I'm assuming. Maybe he just goes straight to Lake, but along the route, he's going to be able to pick up these other two grottos in South Hyrule, and that's just really nice routing, and he's not going to have to worry about those later on. And one other thing that we found in South Hyrule was an Ice Cavern Serenade gives you Saria's song. So that's going to make the true forest access logic a little bit muddled because we don't have the items right now or the information to get our actual forest access. And who knows, maybe it won't even matter. Maybe it's just a prelude hidden back there. But certainly, from a logic perspective, that minuet check is buried pretty deep.
You know daily deals that some games have where you can spend a small amount of money and you actually get more money? That's what that Deku Scrub was today. We spent 10 rupees and we got 50 back.
What a bro.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice we got Nocturne here on Saria's song check. So this is kind of nice because with the Sun Song right at the beginning too, they can like get a check that it's somewhat hard to route when you don't have those songs. That is dumpy digging, like right off the bat before turning adult if they want it.
Is one of the coms really quick? Siva, which com is which one of us is quiet? Because if it's me, I can fix that a lot more easily than if it's...
Chicken? Oh no, chicken.
Oh my god, that was close.
So I'm quiet apparently, so I shouldn't be quiet.
Okay, crisis has been averted. Everything's fine. You didn't see anything. No problems. He's gonna check the waterfall. We're good.
Yeah,
Oximan.
Has that fixed it for you guys? Very sorry about this, guys, but...
Oh, there's a bow on the crate in Graveyard.
Interesting. That's I wonder how that's going to impact their routes. And Oximan now potentially could go down to River with those chews and just grab a bean and work back to Nocturne. Or he could go Adult. But I think it might be worth it just to invest that little bit of time to make sure that you have a bow going into Adult, because it may be necessary.
Yeah, and it is in logic because they have that scale for river access.
Yeah, that's
so it can be worth it. And he's going right after it.
Yeah, I think that's solid. And something that I hope Oxyman will remember to do is after he buys those beans, he should play Sun Song to set time of day to dusk, and that will let him check Dompe digging on his second trip through the graveyard. We'll see if he remembers, but he's got an opportunity to be really efficient here if he can, if the idea strikes him.
Yeah, we're seeing Oximan buying beans here as well.
Yeah, look at that. Sun Song. Oxyman is on top of it. Nice job.
A really useful, well, going to do Dompe digging is really nice, especially when you can route it in like this. Who knows, maybe they'll also route in chickens for the Goron sword, although that, yeah, we can't say for certain if they would do that or not.
So this is nice. He's going to check the Sun Song Redead grave here, and if he still is missing rupees, he can actually pull the grave next to the sword chest, or the shield grave chest, and you pull that back, you can get a blue and then you just drop into the shield grave, and it'll reset it. If you've seen ZFG do any 100% runs, you're probably very aware that that rupee exists because ZFG always has to farm that. But it looks like there might be enough rupees here to make it not an issue.
Yeah, he got 5 here from the chest, so maybe he won't have a problem at all. Yeah.
Yeah, Oxyman knows what's up. Let's go.
You have to anger the Poe, but at the same time you get the money, so that we can dig up. It's vanilla.
First try, though.
Yeah.
Easy first try.
It's always first try, though.
That's the joke.
A good quirk about Vando is that grave digging tour is always going to be first try. Oh look, another bloopy.
So at this point, at the beginning seemed like the route choice of Oximan didn't pay off, but Caesar had to do it anyways because of the late Way of the Heroes, so Oximan is in a pretty good situation here right now.
Yeah, and checking the graveyard before going adult is going to pay off because he's going to be able to get that bow directly in adult on his first trip. But it looks like Caesar is going to find that in his first trip to CAC and wish that he had a way to get it. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be punished, because if there's a boomerang out there, then it's going to be more efficient to not use the bean, but it's still a nice perk. And looks like Oxydude is, or Oxyman is using chews on these skulls. I think that's, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know about that too. He doesn't have sticks, but yeah, he might need those shoes later.
He can get up to 10 though, so I'm sure that's what he has in mind. If he uses all of his, or if he kills all of the skulls in CAC, he can get 10 and check it, and maybe he'll actually scum it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if he saved before. I didn't notice it, but that may be a possibility.
Unless you find that 20 is foolish, as a hint, I don't think you would want to scum skulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And our free song from Forest Medallion was Song of Time.
Ooh.
Not helpful.
Not helpful at all.
And we have Fire Temple is our water medallion. We have Dodongo's Cavern being the Spirit Temple. Shadow is vanilla. And Forest is our light medallion.
Because obviously, it's barren forest.
Jabu is also vanilla. Is this even rando, as we find the iron boots on the man on roof?
So, something that I try to metagame now and then is the location of the medallions. And oftentimes, a barren light medallion often means that in logic, that is going to be your last dungeon. And that shouldn't surprise us based on where we know all the songs for forest access are. So it's probably not super useful in this case, but if we see the song on the minuet check, it's probably very, very deep in the logic, and it's possible that whatever song is there is not going to lead to anything.
Yeah, sounds about right. So let's see, 10 skulls was nothing. So that iron boots in Kakariko Way of the Hero, kinda not what you want to see, right?
Not with stone water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if ZL
Caesar.
is on OOT? Oh, having to do Water and Spirit Temple without OOT, without ZL.
Oh yeah, we don't have a OT hint yet,
Not yet,
right?
no.
I think that it's just
boy.
going to be ZL in the windmill, to be honest.
So we're going to turn adult and we just find ZL like that.
Well, we have Creator Way of the Hero too, so might be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have logical access to get there, though. It could be something like Bolero for ZL or something like that, or even like Requiem in the Crater. There's still a lot to find, potentially, but...
When Oximan
that-
gets their bow, and if they somehow manage to get a hook shot that we know about, then yes, that song will be in logic. You know, and the Creator song would be in logic.
Well, I think the hookshot is still out of logic, so still no way to get across there.
Also, Cloud of Dark Hole 6. ZL is required to go deeper into Water Temple. However, if the boss key is very early, you don't need to change the water levels, and therefore you don't need to actually use ZL. Therefore,
Yeah, it's a very slim chance. I think you have like 2 checks in logic there without CL.
2 if not
So yeah, so it can happen, but it's highly improbable.
3.
Yeah, I would probably cool the speculation on AD for ZL. I mean, I've seen crazier things happen, but a lot of times when you have these stones, so Jabu, Water, and Spirit, there's a lot of items that are required for all of those dungeons. And if it ends up actually being AD, what tends to happen is you get really crazy Way of the Heroes that start pointing to those items that are needed for AD, and we don't have anything like that so far. So if I were in the runner's position, I would assume that it's probably not anything crazy.
Well, speaking of Requiem in the chat, we've just got the Requiem of Spirit.
Okay, that leads to another song. That's quite nice.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very Monka-esque, because if that ends up being the Way of the Hero that the CAC Way of the Hero is pointing to, it could just be for the song, but it could also be for Child Spirit, or it could also be for Adult Spirit, or it could just be for the song. Good luck figuring it out.
Yeah, very confusing Way of the Heroes we got, like in the beginning. So let's see what does this seed have in store for us.
Yeah, or it could just be for Iron Boots. Classic CAC Way of the Hero, thanks for nothing.
Yeah, so logically only map and compass chest, thanks Bitsy. So yeah, 2 checks in logic in water.
However, if that boss key is in one of those 2 checks, then ZL, isn't necessarily logically required.
Yes. But like Elagato said, we have Spirit that has 2 checks locked behind ZL2, and the amount of items you have to beat those dungeons is Yeah, it would be crazy. It can happen, but it would be crazy in the seed
Yeah.
if it was for that. So at what point you play Requiem here to check the song? You can play it right now and then play Nocturne to go back, but I don't know if that's optimal.
Yeah, I think that you want to do it as soon as you finish clearing out the CAC checks, and before you try to climb up to like the Dongos. And the reason is, if it's ZL out in the Colossus, then you want to have that so that you can do the Composer's Grave and get that song, because maybe that song is going to be Bolero that will save you the time to actually have to walk up the Death Mountain Trail. But it's still like a small chance that it plays out that way. Like it could be Epona's or something like that. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's wrong necessarily to just climb. And you got to do those checks on the trail anyway.
Yeah, but we have an interesting point here because Oximan got his bow early, but he didn't get his hook shot on his first child session. So he can't get the song check of Bolero here in Crater right now, and Caesar might rush that to see if it's a potential way of the hero. So let's see how this plays out.
Well, we definitely want to climb now.
They-
We got the claim check.
Well, Bigorn's dead, I think. We got a hint for that.
Yeah, Begorn is dead.
And Oximan having some struggles here with the shooting gallery. That's always kind of nerve-wracking when you miss it and then you know everybody's watching and you're like, oh no, and it's easy to get a little bit tilted. So hopefully he's able to kind of take a breath and
Keep calm.
execute it. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he got it right now.
Looks like
Let's
it.
see.
And Caesar is doing a nice job of using the hook shot through the little wall there. That's the fastest way to get that skull. And a hammer shows up. That is a big deal, and that is in logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bow is really paying off for Oximan right now, so he can check lots of stuff here that Caesar can't right now.
Also gives us access
And-
to the Dongo's cabin.
Yeah, he
And it
can.
may put a lot of these DMC checks into logic if ZL shows up somewhere, as now it's pretty much all accessible.
Yeah. One thing that helps Caesar is that is the fact that Goron City is foolish, so he won't be punished for not having hammer here. But yeah, he can use the choose for a crater. Let's see.
Yeah, unfortunately, if Crater Fairy has something, that's not going to be something that he's going to be able to check for a little bit.
But we can't
And
check
up
it anyway. Because
Well, that's another scale.
we don't have ZL either, so we can't check the fairies. Why
Fix
did
your
I open my
problem.
mouth?
Well, there it is.
So that requires us to get Bolero, hover boots, or have a hook shot. So Oximan is going to be a bit punished with that. On the flip
Yeah,
side,
he-
CesarMartins is also punished because they don't have the bow.
Yeah, that's why I said this could become very interesting right now because Oximan can't get ZL and Caesar can't get his hammer right now, so let's see who gets like most punched for leaving one stuff behind.
Interestingly enough, as far as I can tell, that ZL is still out of logic.
Yeah, it is.
Because right now that hook shot is still out of logic, so technically they have no way to cross the bridge.
Actually, I think it's in logic because we have the hammer.
No, but we have to do Milo skip to get that as adults, so it's out of logic.
That's correct. The Abominable Grotto in Lost Wood in Logic, but the hookshot was on the Merchant Grotto that's beyond Mido. So that one is still out of Logic until we have forest access, which we know is buried quite deep.
You are correct. You are correct. That
our lot. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that chain of logic. The fact that we do need to find a way to Mido skip to it.
That's why I've got magical Lagatua tracker that tells me all the secrets.
Oh my god. 30 schools has lens.
Can we get some Keck W's in the chat?
Don't you mean Monka Lens?
Why not both?
Oh yeah, that was... I was definitely not expecting that. So... We have Shadow Medallion, right? So... Yeah, we have Shadow Medallion, so... Yeah, logically required.
And it is... It cannot be AD anymore.
You're right.
It can.
Nope. It can only be the funding.
I mean, all of our bosses could have progression.
If that happens, then that is evil.
I didn't say it would be nice.
Speaking of logic, go mine logic right now. Shadar's Slingshot.
Yeah.
And now time to head out to the desert to see what song we've got here. Not that many out there that we don't know about. I think this might be Bolero to put ZL in Logic. We'll see if I have the 5-head predictions.
It is Bolero. Put that spoiler log away. Actually, what am I saying? There is no spoiler log because of how we roll the seeds.
Dude, seeing Bolero potentially away of the hero gives me some chills remembering the weekly yesterday.
What was wrong with that weekly? I really enjoyed commentating that weekly and not running it.
Oh, Kokiri Forest way of the hero, so that's our... No, it's...
That could be our scale.
Yeah, that was that's all we found in Forest. We found the scale and...
A scale and a bottle, right?
No, bottle was in Deku.
Yeah.
Oh, just scale? What?
Monka ass.
What is wrong with this seed?
What if you have to use Bolero to plant the bean and get the other scale to get Hover Boots from lab?
Well, Hover Boots is in is hinted in the GTD Center.
Hover Boots in GTD Center. I forgot about that.
But lab could still have something that locks the that locks the center of the maze, because for the logic for the center of the GTG maze requires you to be able to get all 9 keys in GTG. So there's a ton of logical requirements for that depending on where the keys end up being. So if it were like a strength upgrade or something like that, that could definitely be relevant.
It's because the randomizer assumes worst key usage. It assumes that you're going to... the keys that you use, they're used in the worst possible way. It's also why Spirit Key logic is such a blooming mess.
Don't say that, dude. Spirit Key logic is fun.
It's fun to think about, but it's a mess as well. Like, because think about it. The child climb room requires only 1 key. The adult climb room requires 3 keys.
Yep.
To be in logic.
And well, we get Serenade here, so that's pretty useful to return to that lake way of the hero.
Yep.
It's useful. It'd be more useful if he had a hook shot, because then he could find his way to hero item in Hylia, but doesn't have that.
Oximan has beans, so what we might see is them going back to Child and planting the beans so that they can do that Lake Hylia waff.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he has in mind here. It's just a little bit of a missed opportunity, because if he had used his choose in the Lost Woods, he would have been able to do all of this without having to plant that bean and go Child again. But it's rando, right? Like, you don't know what you don't know, and he does know that if he goes to Lake right now, he can get a guaranteed way to hero item, or at least likely can get one. I will be interested to see if he also goes to Bolero and plants a bean there to get that scale, and if he's thinking clearly about what the hints are pointing him towards, I think it's a really good chance to do that. If he has enough beans, which it looks like he doesn't, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, we only currently have one bean. But really, all you need is at most you'll need 4 beans in a typical Scrubs all-weekly settings base. With the Arch being dead because I saw a blue key, that puts it down to 3. Because on top of the crater is a scale, and we don't necessarily need it quite yet, although we may need it. That puts it down to potentially only needing 2 beans.
Shout out to Lost Lightning. Thanks for the scrubs. The scrub sub.
Yeah.
Nice. And thanks for your support for 5 months. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Oximan going for the domain play here. I was thinking about it earlier, but now that you have ZL in Logic, I don't think that like the scale way of the hero might be pointing to this, but let's see.
It might be for gold scale for ATZ Grotto. Wait, no, it can't be.
No, they have irons. It should be for diving the lab.
Also, is that a 3rd CAC way of the hero?
I'm pretty sure it was. So we have
Oh no.
double way of the hero or Kakariko. And I think that the only things we found there were Iron Boots and Requiem, and we have
Hammer.
Kukyo's hint.
Hammer's there.
Oh, the hammer. Okay, saved. The hammer's there. So probably hammer and Requiem, way of the hero. That's most likely.
Like, we can definitely say that the hammer is way of the hero.
Sure.
So what I'll do on our very handy Scrubs Butler, I will put that there, and we'll move it from there, so that we know that one of the way of the heroes is for the hammer. We just don't know what the other one is yet.
The logic for this seed is really difficult to understand. We know that the lens is in logic now that it's on 30. So the real question is, what are these CAC way of the heroes actually pointing to? It could be Requiem for Bolero, and then Bolero is pointing to the scale, and then the scales are way of the hero for Hylia. That's one possibility. But as far as we know, the scale in Kokiri that is confirmed way of the hero could just be for access to buy the beans, to get the bow, to get the hammer. So
oh, that's true.
So we're going to see a lot of information now as Caesar is about to check diving in the lab. And if this has something, or if it doesn't, both are actually going to tell us a lot about what the logic of the seed really is and whether both of these scales are required.
Yeah.
So moment of truth here for Caesar. Let's see.
That's a long shot.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Okay, so that means that we need both scales. So our Death Mountain Crater Way of the Hero could just be that second scale.
And that could actually explain the Requiem Way of the Hero too, because you need Requiem to get Bolero, and then Bolero lets you plant the bean to get that scale to get your long shot, which somehow locks hover boots.
Wait. Either that is first logical hook shot, or we need a long shot.
Yeah, do we know where Eponosong is?
Not
I
yet.
do not believe we do. It's probably locked somewhere deep.
Yeah, that long shot might be for GTG.
Yes. Well, even if it just locks the hover boots, then it would be that way. But we do need those hover boots from GTG Center, so since Shadow is a medallion, so that's now in logic-ish.
Yeah, we could need to go to GTG through using that long shot in logic.
That could be first logical hook. So that hook is actually in logic.
Yeah, that's true. And this can be good for Oximan here, because he's gonna plant the bean and probably, yeah, he's gonna plant the bean of Crater and get his scale and get his hook shot right after.
Yeah, it's not quite as fast as going there with Iron Boots and Hook, but it seems like he's making the right plays to follow the logic, so better to make the right plays a little bit slower than to get lost checking stuff that is going to end up wasting time. So, well done.
So we are almost 1 hour in, and we have no bombs and no strength either.
We're not even missing like that many items. Like, we know where the hammer is. We have Choose,
Yeah.
so finishing Dongos isn't going to be a huge deal. We know where hovers are. We're missing magic and dins, and we're missing a strength upgrade for Forest Temple. But other than that, we have everything we need pretty much. So really only like about 3 items that are missing for glow mode 1 hour in. But still a lot of potential for shenanigans as hovers in the center of the maze. There could be some other items required to allow for the key logic to work.
Oh, that's right. Caesar could get his bow here without planting the beam. He has a long shot, but I don't think he's remembering that, and he's returning to Child.
Well, it's fine. He's going Child. You can't obviously use a bow in Child, but hopefully he remembers that he can get it as adult with that long shot when he comes back.
Yeah.
Because that's right. It'll save a lot of time. It's kind of nice now that he didn't peek the bow. Funny as it works out.
And we are having the well play here for Oximan.
Well, whilst we don't have bombs, we do have bomb choose. We also got storms very early, so checking well seems like an interesting and good play, especially given we do get Ziao. You know, we can full clear bottom of the well and potentially not need to do Child again.
Yeah, I think so too. Basically, he can clear his Child checks. I really can't think of anything he left behind as Child here, so makes sense going well here. And like I said, we have like no strengths, no bomb bag, so chances of something being here in well are increasing more and more.
Yep, I definitely agree with that analysis. And bottom of the well is one of the fastest dungeons and also has a lot of checks because the keys are so few. So if you're ever given a choice of dungeons that you can do, dipping bottom of the well, even if you're wrong, is the least likely to punish you with a big time loss since you can just do everything so quickly. So it's a solid choice here, and I think it's likely to pay off considering what we're missing.
Yeah. I would definitely consider bottom of the well as a good play here. Not the best play. I would probably want to push progression and maybe do start Fire Temple.
Oh, there he is.
Speaking of progression,
That's a bomb bag, isn't it? You know,
yes, it is.
should I just shut up? Because every time I talk about wanting to do progression item turns up. In fact, the progression item that we may need.
No, it's just the seed is making us sound really smart because we were just saying about how he's likely to find a bomb bag here. You gotta give some shout outs to your analysts.
Yes.
No, you don't have to feel bad because this is rando, dude. These things happen.
Yeah.
There's not like the always guaranteed play that it will work out. Like it's most guaranteed, but we don't know. That's what makes rando so
Every
like,
play has its
interesting.
risk.
Exactly. One little thing to point out there, Oximan did a really nice job of getting inside that coffin. That's something that if you're new, you might struggle with a little bit because you can like climb up on the edge and then you try to drop down, but you end up just jumping around like a fool, and then eventually the burning keys comes and burns your shield off, and then you lose your dignity, and it's really bad. So instead, the simple way to get in there is just do exactly what Oximan did. You just put your back to the coffin and you backflip over it, and then you'll land inside with no trouble whatsoever.
Yeah, really nicely done for Oximan to pick up their bomb bag. Did CesarMartins mean to plant that bean there, or do we think that was a mistake because I don't think there's a purpose to that one, if I'm not mistaken.
That could be useful to Ice Cavern, like later, but he has the scale and the hover boots, so I think it's easier to get the shortcut on Lost Woods. Maybe he forgot about that.
Yeah, in this particular situation, it's not going to provide a speed up. Normally you plant that when you don't have irons and you don't have a scale, and then you know that as adult, if you're going to go Ice Cavern, you need to climb up river. Planting that bean will make that a little faster, but in this seed, we have Bolero and we have scale and iron boots, so it's always going to end up being faster just to go through the crater to the Lost Woods shortcut in Goron City, and then to Zor River through the shortcut in the Lost Woods.
So I was thinking here, we are one strength away for fire being fully in logic.
Yeah.
So it's highly likely that our logical access to forest is indeed Minuet on Burning Cack. And so Ice Cavern's song may not be that appealing anymore.
Yeah, and I think really what this is going to end up boiling down to is just where is Din's Fire? That's really the key item. Let's see if Caesar can get his flame storage trick here. This is a pretty challenging one, but it looks like he had... Whoa! Uh-oh, I'm scared. Oh no!
No, he could have got those. Yeah. That feels bad.
Yeah, that feels bad. Although obviously you're very unlikely to find Din's there since it's already fire locked. But something that you can do in that situation for next time, if you light the first torch, you can actually just side hop to the right instead of trying to run there. And if you side hop to the right, you will land right next to the other torch, and you can just turn and you'll light the second one.
Nice. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah, it makes it, I call it Alagatua proof because anytime I deviate from my precise setups, I tend to screw things up. So there's an Alagatua proof strat for you.
Yeah, also the flame resets when you light the torch. That bit I did know.
So, Oximan fell. Yeah. He has paralysis, but he doesn't have magic to recover. It feels bad.
You do know there's a chest down here.
Yeah. At least he can check that, but he'll have to come back to check the locked chests. So
Did he check those already? I thought
All of the
maybe-
checks have been done. This is the last check
Oh,
Oximan
he-
needs to do.
he did open those? Oh, the boomerang!
Ooh.
No, we don't want that. Put that back.
I'm a bit scared about that as well, but at the same time.
Oh gosh. That can't be for Skull Logic, right?
No,
We already have
we are way above 30.
Yeah.
We were above
Yeah.
30 with bombs and hookshot.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, so we have Iron Boots in the way of the hero location. We have Boomerang in well. That's not what we want to see.
But it's going to be interesting going adult and what we do next, what we see next.
Yeah.
Because we've got bombs, so now that long shot is in logic.
That is correct, and it might be worth a trip to Fire Temple now with Bolero and Hammer and Bombs and a bunch of hearts. That is pretty much open, and if Oximan knows how to ground jump, he's not going to have any issues being able to complete the temple, even if it's not fully in logic, depending on where Bob he is. But it looks like Oximan is heading to the Lost Woods, and if he clears this, he is likely to run into that hookshot.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm curious about his next play here. Is if he's going adult to go for the fire play like Elagacho said, but he might as well try Child Spirit. I don't know.
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Remember that he's planted that bean in the crater and also at the lake because he didn't have his hook shot. So I think the first thing that he's going to do is go back to the lake to follow up that highly awaited hero. And he's going to get both of his hook shots probably very quickly.
That's right. That's right. And there is his hook shot.
Yep.
He'll soon find his second hook shot.
Just need to do a bit of diving for that.
Wait. Did Caesar he resetted the entire bottom of the well? What happened?
Well, I think he just wanted to scum his chews, but now he's going to find a bomb bag, so that will make things a little bit simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he'll feel awful when he finds the bomb bag.
Yeah, definitely saw that bomb bag, so it's going to pick it up. Probably, I don't know. And a bit of a time loss there, lighting another torch and freeing more keys.
Something you can do in this room, if you're having issues, is you can just use your first torch to kill the Gibdo, and then you don't really have to worry about getting frozen. You just run straight to the torch that you need to light. That's something I do.
I didn't know that they burnt up quite nicely.
Okay. New checks coming here for Oximan.
Yep.
Puncture bowling. Let's see if that bomb bag leads us to anything. Still no strength.
Yeah, I've got to imagine that a strength upgrade is going to show up pretty soon. Keep in mind that we fires. That's potentially useful. But sorry to go back to my original point really fast. So we know that hover boots are in the center of the GTG maze, which means we need all 9 keys. It's really likely that there is at least one key behind the silver blocks in GTG that requires strength 2. So it's pretty likely that there are going to be 2 strengths in logic before you need to get those hover boots. So there should be some out there in the world, and we're starting to run low on checks in logic. So I imagine that we're going to start running into some strength upgrades before too long as these runners continue to clear the seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we have in logic here? Like, it's the fairies because they have the bomb bag and the hammer now. They haven't checked them. I think Caesar checked the MT fairy, but that's about it.
The MT fairy was checked, and that was dead.
Yeah, and we have Fire Temple into the push block room and Child Spirit, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, and just GTG. Like, there could also just be strength upgrades in GTG.
Oh, that's right. No, but GTG isn't in logic yet. Or is with the bomb bag?
With the long shot, yeah. So the bomb bag for long shot, right. And now everything is back in logic.
If you guys will excuse me, I will be right back.
Okay.
And now with this bomb bag, we have a lot of progression opened up because now all of Dodongo's cavern is clearable. It's a little unusual to be an hour and 15 minutes into a seed and not have seen any of Dodongo's cavern, but that's just kind of how this seed has been, with kind of the awkward placement of items early on. And Fire Temple is effectively clearable, even though it's not fully in logic. So I think after Oximan wraps up this Hyrule Castle Fairy, it's probably time to go back adult and chase these progression dungeons.
Yeah, you're right. I was totally forgetting about the dongles. Like you said, it's so unusual to see like 1 hour 15 and neither runner hasn't even dipped the dongles yet. So yeah, we have a full clear that right now. Yeah, I think you were right. Now it's the time to push progression as much as you can because they have been stuck like getting items here and there in the overworld for quite a while and locked out of progression. So they might they might be thinking that they are behind, that the other one found those items early. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see if Oxyman remembers to go down to the lake. He's checking the pedestal again. All right, and maybe he's just thinking about what to do. Yeah, so he's heading down to lake now. So because he has irons and the hookshot, he will be able to do the lab no problem. We'll see if he chooses to do the other lake checks as well. But looks like he's going to do shoot the sun to see what's on there. If it's something, he will be able to pick that up after he gets his long shot.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's the only thing left for us to know.
That's right, yeah.
So is it Dims? No, it's just a Bloopy.
An ice arrow, which
it's ice arrow.
As good as a Bloopy in my book.
I have someone in chat that will disagree. He might say something really soon. Let's see. There he is.
Yeah, I have.
He also.
What have I missed?
Wave the hero ice arrows.
Wave the hero ice arrows. I don't think ice arrows can be way of the hero. Given that they are one of the items that can show up in a barren location.
So it's actually interesting. So ice arrows are not technically completely useless. There is actually one situation that you can use them. If you do not have a bow or like a hookshot or anything like that, and you are trying to do Mido skip, you can equip the ice arrows, and it will let you do the backflip over Mido a little bit more easily. It's a very situational little trick. But you can do the same thing with ice arrows, fire arrows, ice arrows, or light arrows, I believe, even if you don't have a bow.
They also do deal double damage to Volvagia when she's flying. And you can also use them to freeze the hands of Bongo Bongo to make that boss fight a little bit easier too. But no, they cannot be with the hero for Bongo Bongo, Bitsy.
Yeah, if you can really meme about it, you can freeze the Gerudo guard if you don't have a hookshot to to make the easier setup.
But you can
I learned something today.
Oh, so Caesar now showing us another way to farm rupees. You can sell the fish to this guy.
That's pretty cool. I've really almost never seen that. I'm not sure what he needs the rupees for, but I'm sure he has something in mind.
Yeah, I guess he just had, like, if he gets to a point that he needs to buy something, he wants to have that full wallet.
I'd be interested to see what the next play is, given we're missing strength, and we're missing, yeah, we're just missing a strength, really.
Yeah, but like Agacho said, they haven't done the dongles yet, so that's kind of surprising. But the seed was not kind on the placement of items, so they're really putting the dungeon off for quite some time. We might see Caesar doing that right now because he warped here to Crater, and he seems like he is leaving through Gotham City. Oh, he might do the Crater checks.
Yeah, I think he's going to do the Crater Grotto, but unfortunately, Caesar has not remembered to go pick up his bow with his long shot. And that's really locking his seed down, because we know that the hammer is locked by that bow right next door in Kakariko.
Yeah. Oh, he already did the fairing, he forgot.
Yeah.
So we might be seeing the nerves playing out. As I was saying, he was kind of nervous about the match, so that might be affecting him.
It's really easy to forget that you can pick up that box in the graveyard with Longshot. I have definitely forgotten that in a race before, and my tracker even tells me that I can do it, so it's just one of those little details. But doing Dodongo's Cavern is definitely not wrong, and this is a solid place, and who knows, maybe he'll find a second bow here somewhere.
Yeah.
Also, it's a medallion, so we might as well do it.
Yep, this is a solid play for sure.
And we might see Oximan do the same thing here. He seems on his way to the dongles.
We are missing 2 sometimes hints as well, so...
But having that... Oh, sorry.
It would be... I was going to say, it's going to be very interesting to see what else the seed is going to hint at us.
Yeah. And Oximan not going to dongles right now. I was gonna say that his hammer might give him a little bit of time in comparison to Caesar or clearing the dungeon, but we will have to see that later.
Looks like he wants to check the Storm's Grotto, but something that Oxyman should maybe think about for the future is that if you play Bolero with that long shot, it's actually a lot faster to come up this way from the crater, because you can hook shot to the top of Goron City in one shot, and then if you want to go to Dodongo's Cavern, you can just backflip down, and going that way will end up being faster than running through CAC, and especially if you want to check that grotto, it's a little bit of a more efficient route, but nonetheless, still getting the right place. And look at that, I called it! Another
Oh my god!
Okay, so what is the logic here then? Like, what do we need to do?
Well, that's just a dupe. That's just a dupe bow. I think that one might be in logic as well because of the bomb bag in bottom of the well. But yeah, I guess that we already know that the scale is Way of the Hero for Lab Dive. So I had speculated earlier that the scale was potentially Way of the Hero to buy the bean, but we know that's not the case anymore with the bomb bag and that bow being where it is. So that theory's dead. It's just Lab Dive.
Yeah.
Well, we can definitely say that Lake Hylia is where the hero for that hook shot, just like Kokiri Forest is where the hero for the scale. Kakariko Village is definitely a hammer. It can also be either Iron Boots or Requiem, and then Death Mountain Crater is ZL or the scale.
I think we have confirmed Requiem Way of the Hero as being for Bolero to get that other scale.
Yeah.
And DMC also Way of the Hero for the scale and ZL.
So, quite a few options as to what our Way of the Heroes actually are for.
Well, it's not entirely relevant, but DMC also had a slingshot. Oh, okay, never mind. There's another one.
Yeah.
Seed says no.
No, just shut up.
Yeah, just shut up, commentators.
You were on point though. That until that moment, it could have been actually what it was pointing to.
But no, I think those. I think the slingshot was in a similar enough sphere then to each other that one does not block the other.
Yeah,
that is correct.
So.
Yeah, they're definitely not. Unless there's something on Goma, it's very, very rare for, or targeted woods, it's very rare for Slingshot to actually be Way of the Hero. Because Slingshot can really only lock Goma, targeted woods, and potentially Child Spirit access. So you really don't see it often.
Yeah.
Although, when you do, you tend to remember it.
I guess the real question now is, what do we do next after DC? Like, we need magic, we need Dins,
We need strength.
and we need strength.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm Oxyman, I'm going fire for sure. But Caesar's got. So here's what I'm hoping is going to happen. I'm hoping that Caesar, right after killing KD, is going to take this bow and go straight to Adult Shooting Gallery in CAC and pick up his hammer. And then we're going to be kind of... If he does that, it's going to be actually a pretty tight race because they're both going to end up being in about the exact same position of items at the exact same time. So it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah. But on the flip side, what if they don't take that bow to Kakariko Village? Instead, they go straight to Gudo training grounds.
Well, since when you beat Dodongo's Cavern, it places you right at the entrance to CAC, I'm really hoping that he just runs down and does that check.
Yeah.
It's like the best time to do it.
Yeah, if I had to bet, I think he's going there. Like, there's not much else to do. It's too risky to go to GTG right now, so I think he's gonna do it. I really hope so too, because then, like Elagacho said, we will have a pretty close race here and very interesting moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we're definitely going into CAC.
Yeah, he's definitely doing it.
Yeah, this is definitely another archery game.
All right, Scrubs. Well, we've got a exciting race for you now. We're like an hour and a half in, and our runners really are going to be separated by, I imagine, less than a minute at we hit the hour and a half mark. And with everything to play for, 3 items missing, and GTG knowing that that's required. So we got a good one today. I'm really excited to be casting this.
Yeah, it's a good seed. It is a really good seed. And whilst we see this archery game and King Dodongo match, I want to just shout out some of the wonderful volunteers that really do make this race possible. Namely our trackers. So massive shout out to Diggers and Zorro for being wonderful trackers for today's race. I also want to shout out my fellow co-commentators Elegatua and Furlim. And just without all of the support and the help that the volunteers give us, we would not be bringing you these wonderful V-streams.
Yeah, and just complimenting about the really close race we have here. Something interesting about this too. On the qualifiers, they were actually tied on points. They had the exact same amount of points going into the seeding stages. So this was actually shaping up to be a very, very close race, like since the beginning. So we're actually seeing it happen right now.
And we do like seeing close races. You know, it brings excitement.
For sure.
Yeah, it makes it exciting. It makes it interesting. We also like seeing divergence in routes. Like Oximan is not going Fire Temple, but CesarMartins has gone in.
Yeah, I think both of these plays are fine. You know that you have to do GTG, and you really have to do the whole thing to get that those hover boots in the center. Hopefully, the key layout will not troll him too much, and he'll be able to get at least 7 keys so that he can get to the center.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if he's not confident in doing Fire Temple without the hovers to get to Volvagia potentially. And I think it's actually fine to say I'm just going to go to GTG, get my hover boots since I know they're there. I've got to clear the whole thing, and then afterwards I'll go do Fire Temple, and I'll be in my comfort zone with all the luxury items that I need to make sure that I can do it clean.
So another thing I was thinking about here right now, those hover boots, like we were talking about it before, are very likely locked behind 2 strengths, and we have none right now. So Fire here might have like a key layout for you to go deep into the dungeon, for not having to need those hover boots to fight Volvagia. So,
but we need the strength in order for that to be possible.
Yeah, so either we have a strength very early here in Fire, or maybe they are both in GTG. I don't know. It's pretty tricky.
So yeah, we definitely know that we're going to need either 1 strength or the hover boots to beat Volvagia, because you either need 1 strength to climb all the way to the top of the Fire Temple to lower the block to let you get to the platform, or you need the hover boots just to hover there. And so Fire Temple is locked behind 1 strength, and hover boots are probably locked behind 2 strengths. We don't know that for sure yet. It's possible that the key layout is a little bit strange, but yeah, I mean, we're running out of places to check. You got to imagine that some strengths are going to show up in GTG, because there's really nothing left.
You know what? Something that we haven't talked about, but it's kind of open for a while, and I think it's a pretty low sphere. It's Water Temple.
Don't say that.
But we need to talk about it right now, because not having a strength by now, it's really, really strange, and it's likely you're gonna have at least 2 for being able to beat the dungeon logically. So yeah, my concerns here are raising.
Yeah, no, I actually think it's a really good point because not only is it like a low sphere, but those iron boots are in Way of the Hero Kakariko, in double Way of the Hero Kakariko. And whenever you have 3 items in a double Way of the Hero location, it always raises my eyebrows, and I always tend to think like there's a good chance that all 3 of these are actually Way of the Hero. And a magic in Fire Temple.
That's
So
strength
that's
lock.
down to strength lock. So now we're down to only missing 2 items for blow mode.
Well, I can say this is awesome for Caesar right now because he has Ferrar's win. So
Oh, yeah.
even if he wants to find the boss key and just beat Volvagia, he can leave the Ferrars to return later if needed. So that was awesome placement for that magic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would be a nice play with that magic because of the ability to set Ferrar's wind inside and come back if you need more keys.
Yeah, especially if there's a stupid key layout where there's 3 keys locked behind strength 2. There's still a chance that Oximan could get punished really badly just by some bad key layouts. So I think we're kind of all sweating here a little bit.
Yeah.
However, a nice play for Oximan is being able to do these hammer rocks right now, as well as pick up a few skulls. So
Yeah, that's another thing I think we didn't talk about is that Oximan got his 50th skull right now, and I think Caesar only has 7. So if 20 skulls happens to be something, we have to remember Kakariko Double Way of the Hero.
yep.
This is a huge advantage for Oximan.
Yeah, and that's something that if you're running and you see CAC Way of the Hero once or Way of the Hero twice, that should always tick off something in your brain to say, I need to prioritize skulls a little bit more than usual, and even more so, double Way of the Hero. 20 skulls is definitely something you want to prioritize in your route. Maybe you don't need to go out of your way to explicitly farm skulls instead of progression, but you want to make sure that as you're running by these areas that you're getting all the skulls there, so that if the item on 20 ends up being the thing that's locking you down, you don't have to put it off so long that you end up doing unnecessary dungeons.
Nice trapping of the Gerudo Guard by Oximan. That trick is... It's a really nice way to be able to beat the guard without worrying about the attack that will send you to jail. Yeah, now we can do GTG, we could do the roof tops of Gerudo Fortress.
Oh, is Fire Pierre? Oh no, we have still 1 check remaining before Pierre. But I think Caesar has the song set up.
Yeah, with Highly Way of the Hero, I recall him setting it, so it should be no problem. And even though it's not going to come into play this race, with Longshot, it is actually possible to get up to that check without Pierre, although it's a very precise trick. And if you're interested in learning that trick, I've got a video on my YouTube that gives a nice, easy way to pull it off, at least relatively, but certainly the easiest way is just to use that silly scarecrow.
Yep, Pierre is always much easier to use than trying to hit pixels.
Hey, Tenacious Toad, this race has been really, really good, and actually we have a very close race. Our runners are in different places, but their progression is very similar, and as soon as Caesar finishes Fire, he's almost certainly going to go over to GTG, and vice versa. Oximan is in GTG with Fire available, so when all is said and done, I have a feeling that these runners are going to be very, very close to each other again.
So let's see what early GTG has in store for us. Fire here we only have that magic, and we know that it is strength locked, so it it increases our confusion here about where those strengths are.
Yeah.
They're not showing up.
It's like, instead of trying to find the magic or the lighthouse, it's, where's the damn strengths?
Yeah.
We need you.
Well, 2 keys already in GTG, so that's a good sign. Really, if you're Oxyman, all you care about is please don't let 3 keys be behind the heavy blocks. That's all you want.
Yeah.
I mean, we can also do toilet right now if we so wish.
Yeah, that's the last ditch effort if we can't get hovers.
True.
And fire here indeed has a deep fire layout because of that hovers being where they are. Still no boss key. Still no boss key yet.
So we definitely
And
need
just-
to find strength. One.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been kind of nice for Caesar because he's been able to just kind of full clear everything and pick up those skulls along the way. Very efficient way to get his skull count back up there and help recover in case that 20 ends up being important.
Yeah. So 2 keys on the right side of the maze means that we logically require Song of Time to be able to get to beat GTG and get that final prize. We have Song of Time, so it's not a problem.
It was nice of the Seed not to hint Temple of Time Way of the Hero. Thanks, guys.
Oh boy.
I mean, what could Temple of Time be Way of the Hero for?
Song of Time.
Yeah.
Wasn't there that one qualifier where you had to dip GTG to use Song of Time to pick up the one item you needed to open up your entire seed?
Isn't it like every Seed?
No. It was specifically you had to dip into GTG to get it.
Oh, what a guy. Caesar setting the Goron free. What a bro.
He's not happy about it.
Well, we found the
And
boss.
there's the bot key. Wow, that leaves him in a really tight spot here because we might have a key on Volvagia or maybe in Hammer Chest.
Yeah.
So let's see what does he do here. Yeah, he's going for that.
Alright, I'm gonna tell you a little secret here. With Furor's Wind, now is the time to set Furor's Wind right where he was and go kill Volvagia. Then, if it ends up being a key on Volvagia, you can just come right back and there's no risk at all. But unfortunately, if there's a key on the hammer chest, then Caesar is going to get punished here a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I would probably set towards when go kill the dragon. As much as I don't want to kill my own pet. And then we can go ahead and come back up if there is a key on Volvagia, because we have to do Volvagia no matter what. If Volvagia is not a key, we don't have to do this chest.
It's possible that Caesar doesn't feel comfortable doing the trick to jump to the platform without lowering it, so that could be something else that's going on. But something to keep in mind, if you're doing Fire Temple and you forget how many keys there are, you're always going to end up with 2 left. And speaking of things that we knew were going to show up in GTG, there is our strength upgrade that's going to fix the logic for all this nonsense.
Yep, so we can now logically beat Fire Temple, get that magic, and yeah.
Well, but there was a feels bad moment here for Oximan because he hovered cursor to equip for ours to leave there, and he remembered, oh, no magic.
Well, and he's still got to get the hover boots too, so he's not done here.
Yeah. There is also having quite a hard time here. Let's check in fire.
It's not an easy path to walk.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see if at least he gets rewarded for it.
Nope, it's a key.
Oh boy.
It's a key, so...
Deep fire being deep fire.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity there, but sometimes when you get magic in a dungeon, it takes a little bit to kind of realize that you have the option to use that item in the dungeon to save time. I'm guilty of that a lot, where it just takes my brain a little bit to process the new information I've got.
An interesting thing to point out, unless toilet is... okay, there is at least 3 keys that are locked behind strength 2.
At least 3?
At least
oh, you're
3.
right.
Because we currently have 4 keys, and there's only 1 check we can do left, which is the toilet.
Oh no, the maze could have a bunch of keys.
That is also true. Why did I forget?
Oh yeah.
Why did I forget about the maze?
Yeah, with 4 keys we have 2 checks in logic inside the maze.
2 inside the maze in logic, and
another one that he can get if no more keys. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's opening toilet here just for precaution.
Maybe just check the toilet because you need keys and you don't want to go into the maze just yet.
Yeah, he's not able to set doors here, so yeah, maybe he like if I have to go back for this, it's gonna cost me a lot of time, so I'm gonna play it safe.
So welcome to the toilet. Why do you come to the toilet? There's a load of rubbish in there, and usually it's not worth play.
I know the toilet is really exciting, but I want to shout out Caesar for a really, really nice, clean Volvagia kill.
Yes.
That's exactly how you want to do it, and that is not free, so well done.
Well done, Caesar. It also gives them their water medallion, which means they get minuet.
Yes. So easy access to forest. And nothing on Volvagia.
We knew it was an item.
So if I had to guess, I think it could be Pona's song on Minuet, and then you need that long shot to go to GTG to get strength 1, to beat fire, to get forest access, to get Epona.
We now have 5 keys, which means, it was a real quick toilet play too.
Actually, I think Epona's the only song left, so sorry to cut you off there.
We're missing... Yeah, Epona's the only song we don't know the location of, so it has to be... on Minuet.
So Caesar here rushing Minuet right after fire. I don't remember if either the runners checked the DMC ferry. Can anyone remember?
The Crater Fairy, I think.
Yeah.
None of them have yet, no.
Oh, that might be dangerous. Yeah. Especially, we know that it already gave you 3 items, but yeah.
So I think Caesar is making a little bit of a mistake here. He just got Minuet, and he should go get the Epona song and then go to GTG just so that you have the option of doing HBA. And speaking of strength, how about that?
That is
both
also
strengths
in
and
logic.
GTG.
That was also in logic.
Was it in logic?
Yeah, because we were left with 2 keys
I didn't count the keys.
When we got them.
Oh, wow, this is huge here for...
So now we can also go and check what's behind the push block in GTG. But that's just blown open the seed. Like, we're missing Din's Fire, we're missing Light Arrows.
Yeah, congratulations. Din's Fire is available. It can be anywhere!
You know what? Do you guys want to bet? Do you want me to open up a bet for the Light Arrows?
No, for Din's.
Din's fire.
Yeah, this is the time. Alright, you wizards in chat. Get out your Nostradamus hats and tell us where this Din's is.
I think chat is not being too kind.
I see some treasure chest games.
Well, we
Ooh,
we get double defense, so we've got the cities. As some people affectionately call them.
And let's check here. Nothing.
Nothing.
So yeah.
I was about to say, I don't want to close the bet prematurely.
Yeah, it can be really anywhere right now, especially if Onosong is indeed at Minuet check.
Yeah, it has to be.
I think it has to be. Yeah, we know what song we have in Ice Cavern.
But yeah, so this is perfect because it's going to get everybody a little bit more time to get their bets in. Because we're going to see a bunch of progression that we already know what it is for the next probably 10 to 15 minutes as they swap Fire Temple and GTG.
So I will close it then once either Oximan finishes Fire or CesarMartins finishes GTG, whichever is sooner.
Caesar doing a really nice reverse here too. Did the trick to light up the the flags to make it easier, but it's not that easy even with the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a clever little play because he had to drop down to do the wasteland check. So if you're doing that, you might as well light up the torches, make your life a little bit easier.
Now here's an interesting idea. What if we were to buy, what's it called? What if we were to buy a Goron tunic? Or do you think we have enough parts that we don't need it?
Yeah, so it depends on how comfortable the runners are. My rule of thumb is anything over 6 is enough to do it, and they're well over 6. But I'm very experienced with the fight. They have bottles, and you can get fairies if you need to, so they really shouldn't need a Goron tunic this seed. If they're feeling worried about the time limit, you can always just get a fairy really quickly to be safe, and then you've got a fairy. And I feel like they might have found a fairy bottle somewhere along the way too already, so maybe I'm just misremembering, but they might already have one.
Yeah, there was a fairy bottle in Fire Temple. It was really, really convenient.
I love it when things are convenient. It does look like Oximan is going to do Link the Goron to get that Goron tunic.
Yeah, he is opening the shop. There's no other reason for doing the Goron because you have Bolero and you can go to Fire Temple right now. So yeah, it's not like we can't condemn him for doing this.
No, it is a smart play, and the logic does actually expect you to have the Goron tunic. So getting a Goron tunic, no shame in that.
Yeah, I actually think it's really smart depending on just who you are, because in a race you really just want to stay in your comfort zone as much as possible. It's not the time to try and push yourself into risky plays that you're not comfortable with mastering, because you have to manage your mental state, and if you start messing up tricks, you can get really down on yourself, and it can really spiral out of control. So if he feels like he needs to have the Goron Tunic just to be safe, and it's going to cost him that extra 15 seconds or whatever, then you know what? I think that's a really wise thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think in most of these races, like especially in 1v1s, we have to think about consistency, like doing what we are most like comfortable and not trying to risk too much, because yeah, maybe you can gain like seconds by doing those optimized strats, but the time loss of messing those up can be much more like relevant. So I really, at least it's my mindset. I really try to do everything that I'm just comfortable of, and if I don't know the trick, or like if I'm not comfortable on beating Fire Temple without Garn Tunic, I'll definitely buy it.
So yeah, just as a reminder, we do have a bet open for where the Din's Fire is. It's not going to be in Shadow Temple. I'm just looking at the bets we've got, and we've got one that is a Shadow Temple bet. So obviously, a lot of the runners in the Scrubs tournament are either new, so even though they're new, they've gotten so much better at the game in the few months that they've played, or maybe they don't have quite the skill to be. I don't know where this trail of thought was going. Sorry.
Well, I mean, both of these runners are performing very well under pressure. Like,
yeah.
I'm pretty experienced with the game, but I wouldn't say that any decisions that our runners have made this seed have been questionable or even bad at all. No. Like, they've really done good work, and it's it's really an impressive display of how much work they put in and the skill that they've achieved.
And obviously there are tricks that you can learn that will speed up how quickly you beat the game, even though it does take you out of logic. Actually, I know where I was going with it. I wanted to ask you guys, are there any tricks that you guys like doing in Rando Seeds that you think are either very easy to learn or should be learned if possible?
Well, it depends on how important the trick is. There's some tricks that I like to do that aren't important, that save like 1 or 2 seconds, and then there's tricks that are more important. And I think probably for people here, some of the tricks that are my favorites aren't worth learning because they're like the one of my favorites is jumping off of the right side of Deku Tree to get the hint, instead of going the whole way around the back, and that one like saves 6 seconds if you do it perfectly the first time, and if you mess it up it loses time, and stuff like that is like not super relevant to new runners because there's other things that you can invest your time in that are going to be a lot more useful. Another trick that I really like lately is the ground jump strat in Forest Temple to go through the heavy block room, just because Forest Temple is so boring, and that trick ultimately saves I think like 6 seconds or so, and it's just a way to inject like some technical skill into Forest Temple to make it more interesting, if you do it right. So that's another one, but again, that's another one that's not really worth learning if you're a newer player. I'll have to get back to you on some ones that are more standard. Actually, you know what? I've got one. So something I think that newer players struggle to understand that's really important is the ground jump.
Yeah.
And this took me a really long time to really understand it. And I think maybe some of it is my fault, and some of it is just the videos that I was watching didn't do a good job of explaining like the mechanics of it. But ground jumps are used in so many places, and they're really mandatory to learn. They're going to save you tons of time in Ice Cavern. They're necessary in Fire Temple often. There's a bunch of skulls that you can get with ground jumps that you can efficiently get them without having a hook shot in certain situations. And beyond that, they just like a lot of little time saves, like in Dodongo's Cavern. You end up wanting to be able to ground jump either off bombs or off of the bomb flowers. So it's one trick, but you use it all over the place, and it's going to save you time in lots of locations. And so maybe it's not like my favorite trick, but it's one that if you feel like you haven't got it down, it is one that you should spend the time to make sure that you're comfortable with, because it's going to have a big impact on your runs just from learning one trick.
Fair enough. Furlim, same question. What tricks do you think would you say new runners should try and pick up, or are quite easy to learn?
Well, I think Lagacho made a really good point here. Ground jumps are really, really useful, and like if you learn it, you can learn different setups, do the one that's most comfortable or convenient to you. And like Oximan's doing here, they can like save your life in a lot of situations. So I'd really recommend, if you are starting now with randomizer, I'd still say like learn ground jumps. They are pretty important. But as of favorite tricks, I don't think I have tricks that are exclusively to rando, but one that's came from speedrunning, that are the ice arrows jumps on the push block room that you have to collect the silver rupees. Like I really like those strats, like the glitchless jumps and the hover strat too. It's something like Elagacho said. It's not like if you're starting right now, you don't have to learn this, but they are very, very cool, and they save you some pause menus, and the like the I can't say how much time it saves, but they for some reason I find them really cool, and I spent a lot of time practicing this, more time than I should.
Fair enough.
Or no.
I mean,
So,
go on.
So I wanted to point out something really quick here about the race. So Caesar is going to pull ahead here, and he's going to save maybe even like 2 or 3 minutes across Fire and GTG. And the reason he's able to do that is because he checked the maze before doing Toilet. And when he checked the maze, he got Strength 2. And that allowed him to get the keys from the silver block room to get to the center without doing Toilet. We know Toilet is a key, and so Caesar is actually going to know by process of elimination that Toilet is a key, and he's going to be able to skip it. And that's going to save him a bunch of time. He's not going to have to collect the silver rupees in that room, and he's not going to have to swish around in the water for a bunch of time.
Yeah.
And so you see that Caesar is about to pick up his hovers and be done with Fire, and Oximan is still about mid-fire, upper fire, with probably about 3 or 4 minutes to go. So what once was a tight race with both runners within a minute of each other is going to end up being a little bit of a gap now between them, just based on this GTG routing and a little bit of adaptation on the fly by Caesar.
Mm-hmm. Before I talk about tricks from my end, I would like to point out that the bet has now been closed because we have, CesarMartins has just finished GTG, so we are seeing brand new checks. But yeah, for for tricks that new runners should learn, definitely ground jumps should be learned. They are really useful, and you do use them quite a lot in a run. As for my favourite tricks, I like hookshotless GTG quite a lot. It's not something that you can do often, and it's only something that you do when you're comfortable doing it, but if you have bombs or hover boots, you can pretty much do the left hand side with some careful navigation in that hookshot room and a few other tricks. I also want to point out that another race has just started. We're not going to talk about that race in particular, but you can join the Discord, and it is the matchup of Chemo versus Chemo versus Jojo. You can find a link to that race in our Discord as well as join a watch party. So this looks like to be a water temple play from Caesar.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That is a brave play, and I don't necessarily hate it with the Iron Boots being way of the hero. I just kind of wish that he would do 20 skulls first.
Yeah, I think 20 skulls would be the better play, and then dip into your stone dungeons.
But I like that he's following way of the heroes. I think it's not as crazy as it would be normally.
Yeah, he has Minuet now, so he could go far. We know Forest is foolish, but he has 5 schools there, and I think he had 8 or 9, so he's very behind on schools right now. Maybe he really needs to start thinking about them more. Meanwhile, Oximan here just collected his 20th one.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
For those immense.
30 skills is the lens of truth. And
that's brave.
If there's something on the chess minigame, then we will need it, unless we somehow win in 32. There's also the case of needing in logic, however, we would need it for the back half of Shadow Temple. Given the lens logic that we use, you need... It's new, it's different from what is normally seen. It fixes the issue, some of the issues of having lens logic everywhere, while still being able to be used in the most problematic areas.
So something that is worth pointing out as we enter Water Temple, and especially if you're dipping Water Temple for items, there's going to be 2 items that are key-locked and 2 items that are not key-locked. And so one thing you want to keep track of as you're clearing here is as soon as you have found all of your non-key-locked items, you know that the rest of the checks that are not key-locked are just going to have keys. And if you find a boss key, then whatever was normally on that check is going to be on Morpha instead. So we just saw a boss key on the cracked wall, so that means we have a non-key-locked boss key. So if there's an item on Morpha, then that just means that every single other check in water that is not key-locked is just going to have a small key. So it won't come into play until we find our second item, potentially, but and we still do need 2 small keys to unlock all of the key lock checks, but it's something that if you get a very favorable layout of items, sometimes you can actually skip some of the checks in Water Temple for free, and that can be very valuable as a lot of the checks in Water Temple are very slow.
And as Chat is pointing out too, we haven't had a single dip in Spirit.
Nope.
By neither runner.
I mean, we can access Spirit. We can't full clear Spirit Temple because we don't have the Mirror Shield.
Yeah.
But do we need the Mirror Shield?
And about what Elagacho was saying about water temple key logic, I'm gonna because Toxic Oxygen is here in the chat. I want to thank him a lot because that document he wrote about the water and spirit key logic, it helped me a lot about figuring out what those dungeons could be capable of. Thanks, Toxic.
The problem is, it's because with the key logic it assumes worse key usage. It's why there's a key door removed in water temples. Why fire temple has a key door removed. It's because of that worse key usage, and you don't want to soft lock your runners. If you're playing Sanity on the other hand, which we're not, if you are playing Key Sanity, then you can find that those key doors are put back on.
Yeah. But I think that the most interesting about Water Temple is that you have a locked door on first floor to get to Central Pillar, but Central Pillar does not count as a locked chest because you can access from the higher floor. Like you can shoot through the flames of the torch and open the door on the second floor. So that I think it's one of the most interesting peculiarities of Water Temple.
Something to point out really quick, Oximan found his boss key and is straight out of there, and he is going to be rewarded with an item on Vol to let him know that that there are no more no more items in the dungeon, and so he's going to end up saving some time over Caesar, who ended up having to clear Hammer Chest.
Yeah. So a lot of both our runners are saving time, whilst also being able to, whilst also doing things that happen to have been a bit more of a waste of time, a bit barren. At the moment, they were still good ideas to do. CesarMartins checking the top of Fire Temple was an okay play. It's a 50-50 chance. Whilst Oximan did Toilet, which had a key.
Yeah, so really for both runners, there's some opportunities to save about a minute or two just by either setting Frore's Wind in Caesar's case, or skipping the toilet in Oxyman's case. But now, something that is interesting that Caesar is having to deal with is he raised the water to do Morpha, and so now he's got 3 keys, and he's got a bunch of key lock checks that now he has access to, but if he wants to do the remaining non-key lock checks, he's going to have to lower the water again. And in this situation, it might be a good idea actually just to stick to the key lock checks, because you're going to get 2 items from those checks as opposed to only having 1 item out there in the non-key lock checks. And doing the key lock checks would not require you to lower the water. So it looks like Caesar is just going to be thorough and lower the water again. But I think this is, it's a genius move if the non-key locked item actually has dins, but otherwise I think he's got a better chance if he just goes straight for the key lock checks, and then maybe he's going to lower the water after that if he doesn't find anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually that since we have 3 keys already and Morpho was a key, so indeed that boss key unlocked indicated 1 more key. So we are 2 keys away of all the Water Temple being logic, and we have, I think, 3 chests remaining for that. 1, 2. Oh wait.
Yeah, so we found the slingshot. So we have 3 items that can still be found, and a handful of keys. I think there's 3 keys still out there. And that's 11 skulls, so maybe he's using this opportunity to grab a few skulls on the way.
Yeah, that's true. So Oximan here now doing the check that Caesar tried to do way earlier with flame storage. Let's see if, if the seed is going to be thrown and put things here.
I mean, Firelock's fire
No.
source. Nope, it's just a fish. It looks so fresh and delicious.
And you can sell it for rupees.
Yeah. Make a little bit of money out of it too.
And pointing out also thanks to Holy Sparks for the gifted sub to Hell Knight.
Yes, thank you very much. You are fantastic. I'm not Levi, I'm not going to steal their line. But you are fantastic, and as subscribers, or subscribers, whichever is easier for you to say, you know, your cheers, the subscriptions, they do help a lot with the running. We would not be putting on these restreams. We would not be able to put on these restreams if it wasn't for the people watching.
So you see a little bit of missed chance by Oxyman. He was just in CAC to grab the minuet from the Nocturne check, and I believe he has 20 skulls already, but he did not turn them in. And that is CAC is a double way of the hero location. So 20 skulls is something that you really want to know about sooner rather than later if you have the chance. So
I mean,
unfortunately, we won't find out what it is until later.
I have one good reason as to why Oximan might be doing Forest Temple now, as opposed to anything else. And that is, we know that Forest is barren, but we still need to do Forest regardless. Therefore, whilst we think about what our next play is, let's go do Forest Temple, get it out of the way. We don't need to do it again. We can always go back for 20 skills. We can always go back and do Spirit. We can always go back and do Water Temple.
Yeah, the reason I just pointed that out is because when you do the Burning Cat cutscene, it sticks you right in the middle of CAC, so you're actually really close to the Skeltilador. So it only would have costed him maybe about 10 seconds to turn it in really quick before going to Forest.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing. I was going to ask if he had checked 20 and I had not seen it, so he... But as a consequence of that, we are gonna be rewarded by double